Hi everyone, Life Coach Carisa here, coming to you today to talk about unhappy people. Why does this cause us so much drama? I have some ideas to share with you. So today I want to talk about the most common reasons why people become unhappy, why their unhappiness is not your problem to solve, and why it should not really impact how you choose to show up in the world. You know, I've noticed a common theme with some of my clients that I've worked with in the past. I will hear them say that they tend to be a pretty happy person for the most part, but other people around them just bring them down. Or I do fine until I'm around a really negative person. And I want to challenge those of you that think this way, that someone else's behavior, mood, or energy should have that sort of power over you. I want to challenge that because we just say it like it's true. Like they brought me down. They were a negative energy. I can't even be around them. I'm not going to be around that person. It is not true. We are giving all of our power away. So I want to pull you back for a second, okay? So I used to be a pretty unhappy person. And now I have the advantage of seeing both sides. I know how I was in that part of my life and I see how I am now. And I noticed that I used to envy people that appeared to be on the outside so happy all the time. Like I used to judge their smiles and wonder if it was forced. I would think there's no way anyone could be this happy. It's fake. Oh my gosh, the things my brain would come up with. But I didn't believe that someone could be at peace or really experience true happiness. Now being on the other side of it, I get it. I've added these tools to my toolbox and I understand how to navigate happiness for myself and how to view others. But when I was in it, I couldn't see it. So why does it affect us so when people are unhappy or they're putting out this negative energy that we refer to? You know, we are only responsible for ourselves. And no one else's negativity jumps out of their body and onto us. It's not like it's an unhappiness germ that infects us. This just doesn't happen. You know, we are ultimately having a thought about their behavior, which creates a feeling in us. Once you know and believe this, you can create a new protocol for how you want to react to people when they appear to be putting out this energy that we see of unhappiness. Don't give someone that power over you. They do not have the ability to influence you. So you need to break up with that thought right now. It is not serving you. It was not serving me. So I have learned that I can have compassion for people as they are. I now know that if they are out of alignment, it's very difficult for them to feel happy with themselves, and this often spills over into how they show up in the world. So what are the reasons that we tend to be unhappy? I am here to tell you that it all starts with your thoughts. No matter what happens in our life, we have a thought about it. But let me try to go broader with an answer of why we tend to be unhappy. I mean, there could be a million specific reasons for each person what's leading to this, but these are some overarching actions that we may take that lead to unhappiness. We may intentionally choose these, or they could also just be subconscious. We've been repeating them. So 1, comparing ourselves with others and using it against ourselves. Being in the habit of comparing ourselves to others will lead us in a constant state of discontent. If we use that comparison to get inspired and create goals for ourselves, that creates possibility. But comparing and despairing just opens up the door for unhappiness. 2, lack of gratitude. We need to count our blessings every day. How many of us have the things we once wished for? And what do? We move on to the next thing to accomplish or acquire. We just keep raising that bar. But truly being grateful for everything we have places us in a position of abundance rather than lack or scarcity, which just opens us up for that unhappiness. Number 3, we are stuck in our own comfort zone. We all have this primitive brain of ours. Its main focus is to pursue pleasure, comfort, and to exert as little energy as possible. This is what keeps us safe in the cave and in our comfort zone. But as humans, we are meant to also grow and evolve. This is what has allowed our species to evolve and thrive. Our big human brains are naturally hardwired to acquire knowledge. When we stay still and content, it can cause this unrest within ourselves because we're pushing away this natural desire to grow and evolve. Number 4, you are living in the past or the future. We tend to either be stuck in our past and we look for patterns and certainty from our past to decide what we're capable of, or we're so focused on the future that we worry about what's going to happen to us and where we're going to end up. And without being intentional, we may stay in that past or future focus so much that we get caught in indecision. We get so conflicted with what to do next that we do nothing. We don't live into these dreams or hopes or aspirations we have for ourselves. We stunt our own growth. But when we live in the moment that's present, we can create our future and we can decide what we make our past mean to serve us going forward. And we can just be mindful to live in this present moment as it is. To listen to that inner voice when there's a desire for something more. And be patient and sit with it and let it see where it's trying to lead you. Number 5, you are not making healthy lifestyle choices. Addiction, using buffers, poor diet, poor sleep. If you don't take care of the fundamentals of your body, it will alert you in many different ways. Sometimes this is illness, exhaustion, migraines. Like some of these is because our body is trying to alert us that something is out of alignment. When we don't, physically or mentally feel our best and do things that are giving us the best chance for health, we are going to deal with these issues, which can ultimately lead to our unhappiness and make us feel like a victim to our circumstances. But we actually had all the control to begin with. We get to decide what actions are serving us and which ones are hurting us. What I hope you gather from that list of 5 is that what makes us happy comes from within ourselves. There's no one else that we can place the blame on that makes it any better. Likewise, then, we can we allow others to deal with their own unhappiness without making it mean something about us or to be our problem to solve? Can we be okay with their discomfort? If we can't even be okay with our own, we tend to want to focus on theirs. It gives us a project. It gives us something to focus on. I want to share an example with you from my own life, something that I had to step up with and do the hard work on myself about. I can recall for a long period of time how I would always ask my husband, "What's wrong?" He would walk in the door after work and I would look at him and try to gauge his demeanor. And if my brain did not perceive it as happy, I would ask, "What's wrong? What happened? What's going on?" Of course, he would typically say nothing. And then my primitive brain would go to work to try to make sense of all that. It would either create stories or try to find evidence of how I am somehow part of his low mood. That was all my perception of it. What usually was happening was he just didn't have any thoughts about anything, and I was creating something. So I learned a few things. I noticed that seeing others' unhappiness would just remind me of my own. So I would often be projecting my own feelings of frustration onto someone else. It's like it kept my brain busy without cleaning up my own brain. And I had this false sense that if everyone around me was happy, then I could be happy. I learned that life is going to be 50-50, and I can retrain my brain to believe this and live it each day. I don't need to follow my primitive brain scanning for trouble at every corner. I can just let life happen, and I deal with those things in the moment. I know some days may be filled with tremendous joy, and others could have an overabundance of pain. There was this false sense of security that I was somehow preventing some negative circumstance from happening in my life. But what happens when you are so focused on finding the negative things in life? You find it, right? You find it. It's there. So I learned that being at peace really requires no effort to be happy. I learned that I can feel my feelings, all of them, and I will survive. Not just the ones that feel good. So when I learned this about myself, I realized this applies to everyone around me. We are not meant to feel happiness all the time. We need the contrast in life to experience that fullness of joy. So it allowed me to just let other people be, to be where they are, because I know they have a reason for it. So look, the goal here is to not be happy all the time and hide our pain. We want to understand our pain and process it in a healthy way so we aren't walking around like a time bomb, ready to take our frustration and anger out on someone else. Because that only gets us like a short burst of feeling better, and then we go back to that feeling of discomfort. So remember, you get to choose your own thoughts about anything that happens around you. That includes how other people act, what they say, what they do. You get to decide what you make it mean and if you make it mean something about you. Or you get to recognize that they are having their own model going on, their own thoughts and feelings and actions from whatever circumstance is happening in their life. You don't have to interject yourself into it. Let them be. Ask how you can support them. Do they want you to just listen while they vent? Do they want you to help them problem solve? But let them feel their feelings and don't take them on. Don't tell yourself this lie that their energy brings you down, or it makes you sad, or it makes you frustrated. That's not true. It's false. It's a story we've told ourselves. Because look, it's human nature that we feel like we need to sympathize with or join them. But the best thing we can actually do for them is to maintain our own emotional balance. Keep showing up in a way that feels authentic and true to ourselves. Deal with our own things in our brain and let other people be who they are in that moment. There are so many other ways to support people rather than trying to change or solve their unhappiness. I am so passionate about this because I've been on both sides. So whether you're the person that's unhappy or you're the person that's told yourself you don't want to be around unhappy people, I want you to look at this closer. There's something here for you to learn from this. Is it coming from something inside you? Or is it you're just not wanting to see that other people have pain? Because that is life. That's the 50-50 of life. We can still be unhappy and be okay. We're not meant to be happy all the time. No one is. So don't put that expectation on yourself or others. Okay, I hope this has been helpful, learning about unhappy people and how to look at that differently in a new way. So thanks to everyone for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, like and share the videos so I can reach more people with this content to help them learn new skills, learn new tools they can put in their toolbox. That's what this is all about. All right, thank you everyone. Have a great week. Take care.